They found with like men initiating divorce was if the men were younger than the women, that there was a strong link to them initiating divorce at a higher rate. But for the most part, women generally marry men like 3 to 7 years older than them on average, or something like that, and they're overwhelmingly the ones that initiate divorce. Yeah. But like I think like all of this data is really interesting and important because like if you have
Tim, can you look this up, please? Cause
yeah, look it up. This is actually an Australian study, by the way. So it's you'll find it fairly easily, probably like rate of divorce or whatever it is. But like even if you look at the Australian statistics for like marriage and birth and all that type of stuff, that's consistently going down. The birth rate's consistently going down, and that's happening globally a lot. I think it's not only.
Hang on. There's another that the global birth rate is not going down.
No, not the global birth rate of Western societies.
Yeah, why is that a bad thing? There are too many.
I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that
the world would be a better place if.
I just think it correlates with the way that men and women interact, and it seems it's a pattern of like Western kind of cultures. You want to have a look at this one?
Is he right?
There's one on the bottom there.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
It's a 7. I can see 70 there.
70%. The Whiteley Law Firm.
I don't know. Wait, I'll send you the link of what I actually found later on. That's something that you can confirm or deny later. But
Sexual Health Australia says that 40% of divorces are initiated
by who?
By women.
Okay.
Hang on. Women are the main
I'll get you the main initiator. It's like 78%, it's 80%, something like that. But
however, over the last 20 years, the number of joint applicants for divorce has been increasing.
Yeah.
In 2007.
There's a bunch of data and stuff, and I tend to believe data and statistics and stuff. Like, for example,
I want to see your studies.
All right, I'll send them to you. But
just for people listening out there, this is what you do when you're losing an argument.
Yeah.
Is you
just give me your studies.
Show me your stats. You're going to quote stats at me. I want to see the studies.
I want to see them, and then I'm going to discredit the study.
Absolutely, I want to see the methodology, so I can pull it apart and go, "That's not true."
Yeah, that's completely falsified. You found this in the back of a cereal box. Where were we? Like the initiation of divorce and stuff. But like even here, like the rate of divorce, like over the last 100 years or 50 years or whatever, has changed massively. And I know it's like a massive cultural shift and independence.
The law changed.
The law changed as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, women stopped being a possession, and they had the uncontested divorce. You can actually bring a divorce without having to. Back when I used to have...
And I absolutely understand that, but what I'm saying is I don't think people understand the repercussion of these changes. I'm not saying that they're bad changes. I'm not saying that they're incorrect changes. I'm just saying when you, like for example, with the birth control, when you change the function of something that's existed like that for a long period of time, whether it's good or bad, there's a major repercussion to that.
Yeah.
And we don't know what that's going to be like because it's never been like that before. No different to high rate of divorce, no different to, pick another social issue.
Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart, whatever. And what I'm saying is like another one that's very polemic and very controversial is a sexualization of, yourself and liberated sexualization of whatever it is. OnlyFans, blah, 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 whatever, accept me for me, regardless of what I do. And again, there's a lot of data and information around that doesn't, lead to long-term marriages. Long-term marriages, because they're, less common, it leads to more issues with children. For example, single-parent households have a highly increased rate of all sorts of social issues and violence and aggression.
Households were, if we go back pre 1940s, single-parent households were very common because one of the people had died. These days, it's because people separate. But I don't know that.
But do they still have the same incidence of issue, like being violent and aggressive or whatever? Or you just don't have the ability to.
Historically, those things weren't measured. I mean, what you can do is go back. in England, you can go back to the thing called the Newgate calendars. Newgate at London, and it was Newgate. It's actually a gate in the London Wall where they had where the courthouses are now. And they used to have the thing called the Newgate calendar, which was a list of all the people who'd been prosecuted and convicted and stuff.
Yeah.
And that goes back to about 1600, I think.
Yeah.
And there's a fair bit of domestic violence going on there, but it's characterised as spoiling of goods and the like, because women weren't people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, and child sexual abuse is there, and paedophilia and all those sorts of things. Now, different contexts in that people had to bring their own prosecution. So you could only do that if you were relatively wealthy. So the measurements are incredibly inexact and don't carry across.
Yeah.
But the fact is that those things existed for as long as we've got records of those things existing.
And they absolutely do. They exist now as well. I just think now this is an even more extreme topic. If you talk about like SA and GRAP, we're going to say grape because you're not allowed to use certain terms on the internet, otherwise you get flagged or whatever.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So,
what's SA? I can go.
Sexual assault. So,
okay.
No, it's fine, but like that's fine.
Oh,
but
I see. SA.
That's fine. Yeah, SA. So, again, there's a bunch of data and statistics and stuff out there, and then you have to understand, because I watched like there's like the main statistic that you hear in the US, which is like 1 in 5 or something like that, particularly with college campuses and all this type of thing, right? And then you look into the study and what they actually included in that, and it was a phone survey of like 10,000 people.
Yeah.
And if they had a date that they didn't like, and the guy, was a bit pushy about what he wanted to do, that was SA. If the guy left gifts at their house that was unwanted, that was SA. And it's just like, okay, that's a little bit
there are those studies that were dodgy. There are also studies giving figures of 1 in 3. In Australia, it was 1 in 3 female university students in their first year. And they, it was physical contact, and they had, really high levels of things like digital penetration. And
digital? Okay. I thought you meant digital as in online. I was like, what?
No. No.
Yeah.
So I absolutely, some of those studies, particularly from the States, were... cast a broad net, but there are certainly
because I looked at the Australian like statistics and stuff like that, and I tried to find like an actual differentiation between SA and grape, and there wasn't one until I looked back to 2003, where there's like a hard data of grape, and it's 0.0, it's like 0.75%, so it's less than 1% of like actual digital penetration, whatever, right? And then they have the SA inclusion of that, and it's like 35% or something like that.
As with all
sexual